So let's do this.
Repeat after me. I am powerful.
I am powerful.
Louder. I am powerful.
I am powerful.
I am powerful.
I am powerful.
Well, welcome to the podcast today. I am so excited of who I have sitting across from me because of the work that this person does is very powerful, very needed, and changing the world. Please introduce yourself to the world.
Thank you very much for the opportunity once again. My name is Katleho Queen Mojakisane. I am all the way from Southern Africa. I am from Lesotho. I stay in Lesotho and South Africa in Cape Town. So I mainly work in sustainability and sustainable development. And what that means is that I engage in projects that seek to. These are groups of people who may not have certain opportunities like or privileges such as the rest of society,
Got it.
right?
Got it.
So growing up, I was living in a sort of a marginalized community itself because I grew up in Lesotho, a developing country where there's a lot of unemployment. There's a high unemployment rate, high crime rates, high suicide rates. So this means that there are people or part of the society that are dealing with some psychosocial issues, and such people may be the less privileged or the economically less privileged, and it may also be certain genders. I realize that there's a need to empower genders, both the male and female.
Oh, I see.
There's
Okay.
a need to, so what I did essentially growing up was that since I realized there's a lot of crime in the area that I lived, I sort of also did research, and I realized that a lot of the crimes that are being committed, the perpetrators are the male people. A lot of the mental health problems that society faces, especially in my country, most of the victims are the male people because of the pressure, cultural pressure, socio-economic
Get
pressure that
that.
they face. And, this is something that men go through a lot. So this means that there are a lot more men in prisons than women. There are a lot more men committing crimes than women. And if we're going to empower, if we're going to have gender equity, then it means that both genders need to be empowered.
Of
So
course.
I did carry out girl empowerment initiatives like mentorship sessions, so on and so forth. But I also carried out individual boy child programs. So I worked with the Lesotho Defense Force, worked with various organizations to carry out these mentorship seminars where I collaborated with businessmen. I collaborated with soldiers, like I've already said, to teach young boys across my city about, the importance of mental health, academic excellence, the importance of, living a responsible life as a citizen of this country. And I also carried along the boys that were
Boys.
in the juvenile prison, the boys that were in the juvenile prison too, because it means that they are there because of substance abuse, theft, all sorts of crime. And as we're empowering people, we shouldn't leave behind those that are actually, in that category that we're trying to actually address. And that's when I now partnered with the Lesotho Correctional Services to provide some sort of rehabilitation to these boys. And, the stories that we get from these kind of projects when you see a boy that you're mentoring who's now out of the juvenile prison and has returned to school, the stories of changed lives is remarkable, and it makes the work worth doing. So
And
this was just an
what's
example.
their ages? What's the ages that you deal with mostly? that you see these problems
Okay,
in?
so yes, so in Lesotho, especially in the juvenile prison, you'll have people or male boys from the age of as early as the age of 9 to the age of 18 in the juvenile prison. And you just wonder how come they got there. So you get to
Yeah.
interact and learn about how did they get there. You also come up with strategies of how do we stop this because it has adverse effects. And also you think about when they get out, how do we stop them from returning to that life?
Correct.
So this is just one project that I decided to go in depth um, uh, into, but it's just one of the many projects that I did. I did a computer literacy project where I taught, kids who go to schools that do not comprise, whose curriculum do not comprise of computer literacy. We taught them the basics of word editing software and other types of software, opening their minds to what a life of tech, the opportunities there
What's
are,
possible?
what's possible.
Yeah.
And we taught them in the language that they understand and we motivated them. We also carried out, career guidance events for high school kids in my city. And these are just, a
Some of the things
few
you do, some
some of
of
the
them,
things.
which is a
Yeah.
lot. Let me
Yes.
ask you this. Why did you choose? I know you said you went into the men. That's very rare that you're saying that it's because it's kind of the same problem here. Not as much, but the males are kind of left behind, right? Not left
Yeah.
behind, but not thought of in a way that
Not
needs
taking
this.
along.
Yes. So what made you grow? When did you start this? When did you start this mission of empowering people and men mostly?
Okay. So in 2019, it so happened that because of the high crime rate in the area where I live, I was, I don't want to say a victim, but I was attacked in my own home.
Yeah.
And it was a burglary, so to speak, armed
Got it.
robbery. Let me put it like that. Yeah. So they came in, did what
Mhm.
happens in a robbery, and after recovering from that experience and reflecting, I did realize that there's a need because I remember in that moment I thought to myself, the only thing I was scared of was not what these people were going to steal, but what they could potentially do to me,
Got it.
who does not have the physical strength to, to fight back. And so I realized that as much as we can go out there and teach girls you're strong, you're this, you're that, at the end of the day, if the man doesn't know how to respect a woman or
Yeah, it doesn't
doesn't know
matter.
how to,
Yeah.
then it doesn't matter because they're still going to be doing those things that we're trying to end, but in a different way.
Yeah.
So I realized the men themselves, they need that attention, and this was what sparked my interest and my creativity, and I just ran with the idea.
I have a
So,
question, and I don't mean to go back on that time. Remember, what you don't feel comfortable about, you don't have to talk. The burglars that attack that happened to you, they were men, for sure.
yes, all of them were men. So
What?
it's a
Wait,
normal
wait, wait,
thing.
wait. Wait. I'm sorry. Okay, so what you're saying is that happened to you. Instead of getting angry or upset at certain class of people, which is men, because this happened to you, you decided to try to change the outcome of it, right? You try to change the world. This is amazing. You're actually amazing, and you're doing something about it. That's
Yes. Yes.
that's
So
that's a lot. That's really good.
yes. So my definition of success, and my mentors who
Good.
I listened to growing up, they always say that success starts by identifying a need and then dedicating your
That's
life to
right.
meeting that need. So I believed that this was a need in the community, and I was very passionate about, I didn't want another person to experience what I experienced. So I was like, if I have the passion, if I could do this, then let me work with what I have to create the impact that I can create.
That's fire. That is fire. Man, I'm so proud of you. I just met you. That is fire. What you just said. That is what you're doing accepted in your community from peers and people around you, or is that another challenge?
Fortunately, it has been widely accepted in my community because we do realize that this is the society that we live in, and there are not a lot of people carrying out these initiatives. So to see someone doing this without expecting anything in return, the community really embraces that.
Nice.
Um, Despite many, despite maybe logistical challenges,
Of
maybe in
course.
terms of funding, in terms of other logistics when doing this, but otherwise, in terms of acceptance or reception from the community, it has been nothing but great. So this is where my journey of being interested in sustainable development really began. And I was like, if I could get into projects like this where I could help someone whom um, without my help maybe wouldn't be able to
For
get the
sure.
opportunities, then I don't mind doing that. I don't mind carving out a career um uh in that line. And that's why we're here today. That's why I'm here to talk about Angelic and our exciting vision and why we're doing what we're doing, how I came to be in contact with Angelic.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you a little bit of a personal question, okay? But I like when I see people doing really powerful things, I always wonder if they know it, right? Like, do they walk around knowing, like, do you walk around knowing, like, yes, I'm saving people, I'm saving the world, I'm saving my community? Do you know? I know that's exaggeration, but are you inspired by what you're doing each and every day?
Yes.
Yes.
So, in 2023, I applied for the Future African Leaders Award. This is an award show. This is an award that is held in Nigeria, right? And in this, um, after receiving this award, a person receives a cash prize of 10,000 US dollars and able to meet various um, African leaders such as former presidents, members of parliament of different African countries. So out of thousands of applications, I made it to the top 10 and I was able to actually win that award. So the top 10 people are the ones that win that award, right? So winning that award for me was a huge validation, a huge
Or
pat on the shoulder to say that you're doing um, something, you're taking steps in the right direction. Especially when I met the former president of Nigeria, met the former president of
what
Malawi,
a life.
Excellency Joyce Banda. I was really honored to be, we had meaningful conversations. We were on the same table, we were talking about leadership, what it takes, how they got to be where they are. We spoke to a member of parliament of South Sudan who told us how she was able to become the first member of parliament, female member of parliament for that reason in times of war, how they, so it was really inspiring. And I really got that validation to say, yes, I'm headed towards the right direction and should continue the work that I'm doing. And then later on, that even what I'm studying in university right now, I aim to, at some point, um, not at some point, but in the future, major in international relations and then further my education along those lines where I can learn how to, take part in policy making and decisions that affect people directly, how I can take part in such and create an actual meaningful change from that position as well. So yeah, I know I'm aware.
Didn't expect this. This is amazing. I am so proud that you are here today because I mean this is a beautiful, beautiful story, and And the fact that you found success not only in helping others, but helping men, being a woman helping men, and then not only helping men, getting the idea or the inspiration to do so because something that happened to you, right? So it is my mind is blown. You're amazing. Okay, so tell me tell me a little bit about what you're doing now. You do have you mentioned your organization. Talk a little bit more about that.
Yes. Yes. So, moving along my journey, I obviously got to meet a lot of other change makers across the African continent,
Change
to
makers.
go to different countries to implement certain projects, especially in terms of entrepreneurship as well, where we could empower local entrepreneurs to meet um, clients and investors both locally and internationally. So I did such a project in Ghana with another person that I met, the Future Africa Leaders Award. Yeah. So,
Great news. All great
so
news start together. This is awesome.
yeah,
Okay, get started.
yeah. So we were like a major sponsor of that event. That's where we raised funds to be major sponsors of that event, representing the organization that awarded us the grants, the cash prizes. And, moving along, I really, grew, my interest really grew, and I came across Tangelic. So, Tangelic is an award winning nonprofit organization that is committed to community empowerment as well, gender equity, and sustainable development. And it's this is I now said, okay, this is an organization that really aligns with what I do. I'd love to be part of this. I'd love to be part of the vision. So essentially, I became the sustainable futures coordinator, and this means that I take part in ideation of projects. I take part in, things like this, like representing the organization in on global platforms and many other tasks that I do. But the reason why I was excited to be part of Tangelic was because they, let me not say they, let me say we now.
We, yeah, I'm talking about.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
So Tangelic wants to create a meaningful change in global South countries, but it's going to start doing so first by Ghana, an African country, and it aims to do so by ending energy poverty. So we know that there's a lot of energy poverty. So what is energy poverty? Simply means, people that do not have access to electricity, people that do not have access to sustainable energy sources, who live without electricity, heating systems, things like that. So it creates, in as much as these are little things, I was thinking about how the whole concept of Wi-Fi, it might seem very insignificant to someone who
Yeah.
has, but it is so important. It makes life so much easier. So what more of electricity? What more of power? So it's very important. You never know how much further back a person's life can be held um, when they do not have simple things such as power. So it's very important for us to be able to meet that need. And I want to outline how we plan to do so. We plan to do so by initiating various projects. The first project will be the Sunrise Spectrum project, where we'll be empowering communities with clean energy access and providing them with solar home systems,
That's
clean
the video I saw on your website. That's the
yes,
video. Got it. Okay, okay. Now got it. Putting it
yes,
together for me.
yes. So we'll be providing homes with solar home systems, clean cook stoves, and community solar microgrids. And we want to do so because we're quite aware that by doing so also there is an element of gender equity involved. How? Because in many African communities, because of the gender roles, women are the ones that are mostly involved in, tasks like cooking and heating, and so they're responsible for collecting firewood from the bush, and they're responsible for getting uh, things like kerosene. They're responsible for heating up the home. And when you use firewood to every day, there's smoke that comes out of there, right? So you develop a lot of respiratory problems, illnesses to be precise. And by giving the women access to clean energy solutions such as the solar home systems, clean cook stoves, and community solar microgrids, we're not only creating a better chance for them to have uh, better health, relatively better health. But we're also the time that they spend collecting all these things, we're trying to save them that time to say you can do something more beneficial with your time. And we're going to, after this project, now implement what we call the Ghana Clean Energy Entrepreneurship
Wait.
Incubator.
Okay, hold on.
So,
This is a lot. Okay. This you're doing a lot. Okay, so where are these programs? Where are they now? Like they're already created. You're already putting these things in these homes, and or is something that's just getting started?
okay, this is something
Okay,
that's just
got
getting
it.
started,
But
and
that's
this
this is the
is why
vision.
we're having
Got
this
it. Got it.
conversation.
This is the
Yes,
vision of
this is
where you're
something,
going with this.
yeah.
Okay, got it.
So the vision is fully there. We've already gone into these communities to actually have conversations with the locals because we want to implement this project in such a way that it resonates with the local
Of
people,
course.
such that we're not overstepping. So we've gone into the local communities. This will be in Ghana. We're going to implement this project in Ghana, in Tamale to be precise, the rural areas in Ghana. So yes, part of our team has went out there, formed collaborations with um, organizations on the ground to gain insight into how we can collaborate together. There's been a lot of studies that have gone into place to ensure that what we're going to do is going to be actually meaningful, quantifiable.
Yeah,
The
you don't want to go in
recipients are
there.
going to,
Got it.
yes, the
And how
recipients.
big? How big is that problem in Ghana? And how big is that this energy problem?
So the energy problem is quite imminent because Ghana is a large area, and the rural communities is very how do I put it? It's very common for there to be power cuts. When I was in Ghana myself last year, we did experience multiple cuts, and this was not even in a rural community. So you can just imagine. I'm pretty sure that even though I have not been to the rural communities themselves, but I'm pretty sure there are areas that do not have, power supply at all.
At
So it is
all.
a huge problem. And the reason why, Ghana would actually be a good area for the implementation of this project is that it's along the equator, and it has um, in a given day, there are many hours of sunlight. This means that this can really be a sustainable solution if we use the solar microgrids, if we use, facilities that rely on sunlight energy to generate electricity. And also, the government itself is making strides to ensure that such sustainable clean energy solutions, um, the laws governing them are not so tough. So it's easy for us to implement these projects.
Also, they're
Yes,
working. That's how they're working with you guys by making it easier for you to go in there and make these developments. Wow,
yes,
that's amazing.
yes. So after the Sunrise Spectrum Initiative, we now want to do what is called the Ghana Clean Energy Entrepreneurship Incubator. This is where
Say it again. Say it again.
the
Say it again.
Ghana Clean Energy Entrepreneurship Incubator. It's quite a
Amazing.
mouthful.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah,
amazing. I love the ring of it. It's amazing.
yes. So it can be shortened to GCEEI, but it's still a mouthful either way.
You thought about it. You thought this is too long. Let's.
So by through this program, we want to foster what we call the next generation of clean energy leaders by providing training, mentorship, and seed fundings to young entrepreneurs who come up with solutions to address the problem of energy poverty in Ghana by using sustainable and eco-friendly solutions, right? So this is where we're gonna make sure that we provide them with maybe, let's say, they require training in a certain aspect. We provide them with such training. We mentor them. And we can also we're looking at how to connect them to actually investors or people who can actually help their businesses grow. And a huge, in this particular pool of young change makers, we want to see a huge representation of females so that we can also, keep on that vision that we have of gender equity. Yes. And even with the other projects, we really want to ensure that we continually have that notion in mind, in place as we move along.
So the
Yes.
first one, so in I think this is the second project that you discuss in your life where entrepreneurs is like a key recipe to the plan that you're implementing. So do you see entrepreneurship as an answer, as a very good answer to some of these problems?
Yes, I do think that entrepreneurship is an answer to some of these problems because the reason why, let's say, energy poverty to begin with is because the people living in those areas perhaps cannot afford to install the electric systems. The communities themselves are impoverished. So when we go into this area to actually encourage entrepreneurship, what we're doing is that we may even be starting something that doesn't exist. We're yet to go there to find out. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but we might be starting a movement that is revolutionary for such an area, and we think that it's really important so that we can kind of, how do I put it, improve the economic state of these places that we're trying to reach out to. And what better way to do it than to actually help the people economically as well? So that is why I think it's important. Entrepreneurship plays a huge role in the implementation of these projects.
Yeah, it makes the change stick, right? Because if you could bring an economy right into this growth, yeah, definitely. Wow, this is a lot. So, okay, so which parts do you believe are the most important in what you're doing?
So the parts that I believe that are the most important in what we're doing, because I'm very concerned about the individual impact that we're able to have when we're carrying out these projects. And like I said, something that is so simple, such as Wi-Fi, is really important.
It's
So
everything, not everything,
yes.
but it's development. It's a lot of keys. I grew up in poverty, but here in the States, right? I know, and I didn't have that. I didn't have, there was no Wi-Fi, but we didn't have internet or computers. The day that I got someone gave me, and it was as an adult, somebody put a computer in front of me and connected me to that world. I never looked back. I mean, it was the information is what a human needs to make these changes on their own, right? Because you're helping, but you want the community to start being able to do this for themselves, and this is beautiful. This is beautiful. Okay, so that you think is the most important part, getting that Wi-Fi, getting the power in there. That, of course, yeah, that would be very.
Yeah. Yes. So essentially, when I was talking Wi-Fi, I was making an example of something that may seem very normal, insignificant, but when taken away, we see that it's very vital. So when
Very.
we look at the important, when we look at the individual lives or groups of people that are going to be impacted by this project. For instance, a student. When a student, a young person, or yeah, a student
Mhm.
is studying and they know that by 5 p.m. the light goes, the sun
Wow.
sets and
Yeah, I
there's no more light. I can't study,
didn't
you
think
know.
about that.
But yes, but then when they now have access to light because of
Awesome.
the systems that we've provided, that means that the study sessions are extended. When you think about the people that maybe didn't have jobs, but now we are saying to them, come up with innovative solutions and we'll grant them, we'll connect you with investors. Well, when you think about how such a person's life changes
Yeah.
from I don't have money, I can't do anything, to how do I now generate more sales? How do I, the education that they receive, how their mind is opened up to the possibilities of what is out there. When you think about those individual stories, I would say for me, that's the most important aspect. Seeing someone who, when you go back to get feedback, they say, I couldn't study before, but after this happened, I'm now able to, study even into the night, and this has improved my academics. I'm now able
Correct.
to get a scholarship. I'm able to do this. I'm able to do that. Because I even want to, bring my own story into this. For, let's say, the people that say they want to empower young people, like the people who empowered me by giving me that award, they have no idea how much they actually impacted my life. Because after
Nice.
high school, I didn't know how I was going to go to university, for instance, right? But because I got that award and that recognition, and they even gave me a recommendation letter, I was able to get a full scholarship to go to
What?
university.
You go,
So,
girl. That is
yes.
amazing.
So this changed my life, and it's my individual story. When I say it changed my life, I am out of a certain economic class. I was able to, as the first child of the family, this and that. So when you think about those individual stories, how really it can be, when someone says it, it maybe wouldn't make that much of an impact to you, but knowing that it is really that meaningful, that is what I think is the most important.
That was beautifully said. So I love that. Now, what is the hardest part? I know money is always a hard part to doing these programs and these initiatives, but if you can name, I guess, the second hardest part to what you're trying to get done, what would it be?
I would say it would probably having the right team of people to
Mm,
implement the project. I wouldn't say that that is the challenge that we're facing, but as we move along, the logistics, the hurdles that we come across, it might be maybe because of certain barriers, like different cultures. We're trying to
got
approach
it.
a certain culture. So the different people involved and making sure that there's synergy in all parties involved needs one needs to take time and apply a lot of diligence to actually ensure that things go according to plan. So I would say that would be another challenge that can be expected in these kind of initiatives or
Definitely.
implementation. Yes,
And
and
especially
also
as you grow, it's new
yes,
experiences that you haven't been
yes,
there, and now I know what you're
yes,
saying. Not the challenge, but the something that would make it easier is if you had people that have that experience already on your team, and they can help and guiding. Yeah, that's powerful. So I have to ask, do you have any story of a male or a man that you help, well, or a story that it helped them and get good outcomes with your program? Do you have any cool stories? I'm just curious. Yes.
past project than I do.
Yes.
So the like I said, we had mentorship sessions, we held fellowships at the juvenile prison, this and that. So, this one time when I wanted to go get feedback from the beneficiaries of this project, I came back and I found one such beneficiary, and he's a young kid, and he was in school actually on that day when I came back, and it was really humbling to see his life change, to see him make better decisions, to see him say, I don't want to go back to the life of substance abuse, which led me to be where I was before. I've changed. You've helped me become a better person. It
Oh,
was so impactful that we actually did, a TV show with him where he was encouraging young people to, especially the young boys,
so you
to
didn't
stay
stop.
away from drugs, in a language that they understand. And for
Wow.
me, that was like, wow, this is really meaningful.
Yeah,
This is really
it
it.
is.
It has a meaning. It's important to do this. So I'd say that was very cool. And my dream would be for the award that I had won, or for projects like the one that Tangelic is doing, driving meaningful change, raising entrepreneurs, would be for someone like that who comes from a background
God,
like that to actually be, a part of these initiatives, to be a beneficiary of these awards and, these kind of opportunities, to see someone's life change so dramatically.
it's
That's
everything.
what I'm working towards. That's what I
God.
want. I think people maybe who are into that life could resonate more with such a
Mm.
person who's
Yes,
decided to
was
change
such
their
a
life.
person. Did you hear what you? This is such a person. Yes, and it's going to happen. So let's talk to them, to people. Let's talk to right now. Let's talk to a young person that like yourself, right? That wants to develop themselves like you have, right? Because what you've done with yourself is amazing. What skills would you tell a young lady or a young man that's looking at this and saying that's what I want to do in my life? I want to get there. What skills do they need?
Like I said initially, what I've always been, the motto that I've lived by is that success starts by identifying a need and dedicating your life to meeting that need. And because of the different passions that we have as human beings, we're not
Right.
going to see the same needs in the communities, you know. And when you meet a need, it really gives you a certain or a different kind of fulfillment that you wouldn't get otherwise.
That's
So
right.
when you start there, it's very important. The second thing, especially for young people, is to really take into account and really pay attention the kind of environment that they have around them. The kind of environment that I had around me really played a huge role in making me who I am. I am a product of many, many meetings, listening to people tell me, impart words of wisdom into my life, being obedient, being humble enough to serve and other people, to learn from other
Yes.
people. I've been in places where in situations where I was volunteering under someone, working under them, simply because I wanted to learn more from them and not get anything in return. So living a life of service, you can start by
Like
volunteering. You can start by just be inquisitive. What Be curious to learn more in what you're interested in, not necessarily about the immediate benefit, like maybe compensation, so on and so forth, but really be thirsty, be hungry to learn, and that will really set you up for greatness. So we said uh, dedicate your life to meeting a need, be very cognizant of the environment around you, and then also live a life of service. Give your time, give your energy, be humble enough to learn without expecting anything in return. That will go a long way.
man, you're very inspiring. I'm telling you. You're like, I don't know. It's You are a leader, that's for sure. You know, a lot of people call themselves leader, but you are leading. So in a major way, because the beautiful thing about everything you said you need to, you know, develop yourself and lead this path, everyone already has. Everyone's already able to listen. Everyone's already able to be humble. They just need to call upon those skills and do it, use it. You're amazing. You're
Thank you
amazing.
so much. Thank you so much.
What is one of your biggest strengths? And this is a question I'm actually, because right now I look up to you. So I'm curious, what's one of your strengths? I know service is a major strength for you, and I completely believe that is one of the most powerful things we can do as a human. What's your a strength that you would like to uh, let us know about?
I want to say my biggest strength is a combination of two things, which is grit and humility. So it's not always the case that I feel like doing what I'm doing. It's not
Got
always
it.
the case
Got it.
that I'm excited in the morning when, I've been through a lot of challenges, opposition from people
Of
that I was
course.
working with, and sometimes it's a lot of work. Not sometimes, all the time, it's a lot of work,
All the time.
especially,
I bet.
yes, especially when there's no like immediate compensation that you're like a tangible compensation that you're seeing. And so when you have that unstoppable grit plus being humble enough to actually follow orders from people that are above you, it really makes your life, it sets you apart. I believe it has set me
Yeah.
apart
Yep.
because there are a lot of times when I don't feel like doing something, but I just tell myself, out of obedience, I'm going to do this. I am a believer, so there's a scripture that says obedience is better than sacrifice, and I've
Woo!
always told myself that all the time.
This girl's on fire, bro. Amazing. Amazing. There's no other way to say it. Keep going. I like hearing you. This is amazing.
Yes. So I continually remember that, and doing so really helps me not to burn bridges with people that will help me in the
Ooh,
future, people
that's a
that
big
have
one.
helped me,
Mhm.
or people that I will need in the future. So being humble, it goes in such a long way. So I believe those are some of the characteristics that I would say they really help me a lot, and they're the strongest. They're my strong suit.
Of
So
course. Yeah, it sets you apart. I like that you said that because it really does. Being humble, some people can't understand when you're being but it changes the conversation. It changes the way people treat each other. It's a yes, amazing. I have a question about when you were younger. What was your dream? If you can remember, I'm very old, so I can't remember that far. But
yes.
if you can remember the first time you had a dream of your future that was you're like really excited about, right? Do you remember what that was?
Yes. So the first time I felt really intrigued by something and I was like, I want to do this was when I was watching a woman that I really, really liked a lot. I used to watch her talk shows and I even forgot the name of the talk show, but she used to hold talk shows where she would uh, interview women who are doing incredible things in their communities. Maybe they're doctors or they're
Got it.
activists against breast cancer, you know. And I really wanted, like, I was intrigued by both the women and this interviewer herself. And I would envision myself either being interviewed or being the interviewer.
Oh,
And I feel like for the most part, I've really experienced both because I've been on set as interviewing other change makers. And also now, as you can see, I'm being interviewed as well.
yep.
And that uh, particular thing of being interviewed, it means by the time I'm interviewed, I will have already achieved greatness. So greatness is not a
Nah,
question.
got
Success is
it.
not a
That was
question,
your
right? So I want, like, I really envision myself being in that kind of situation. So always wanted to be in a leadership position,
Wow.
in a position where I took important decisions, in a position of power. So I think I'm taking active steps towards that. And I'm 22. So by the time I
You're
get
gonna,
to,
yeah, I mean,
yes. So
so
I think I'm headed in the right direction.
yes, more than take the think out, say I'm heading in the right direction, because you definitely are. So let's talk about leadership, because leadership is important, right? So what do you think is the best leadership trait a person can develop in their career that will continue to help them?
I think the best leadership trait would be consistency. I say consistency because it takes a lot to be a leader. But more than anything, showing up. You have to show up consistently,
Con-
whether you feel like it or not. And,
that's right.
you know, yeah, so being consistent in whatever it is that you're doing, being consistent in your craft, whatever it is that you're being a leader in, is very important, because not only would it bring success, but it will also bring sustainable success. That means
That's
we can
right.
see, you know, the proceeds over time of the work that you've been doing, and that you even leave a legacy afterwards. So the consistency is even is very important as a leader. So I would say that is something that I would say is the most important.
Legacy. You use the word legacy. Man, I don't, okay. I think I'm moving because you're so young, and you're like, you're hitting all these tones of professionalism and leadership and entrepreneurship and an agent of change. Like, these are things that most people learn with time. You
Yes.
know what I mean? So how did, I'm curious. What do you think? You're so young. How do you think these skill sets, and how did they download into your persons? How, what do you think? I don't even know what I'm asking, but I hope you know what I'm asking, because I don't know what I'm asking. You know what I mean? Like, you're
Okay.
young. So how did you
Yes.
get this way? Basically.
Yes. I'm gonna repeat this again. I'm gonna say environment. It's very important. So when I
Environment.
was young, I would attend meetings. Like I said, I'm a product of many meetings, and in these meetings, would get motivated by using the word of God. So I'm a believer, like I said, and would be told every day. They will tell us, "You're 10 years ahead of your peers." Literally. And they'll tell us, "Say it to yourself, I am 10 years ahead of my peers in everything."
Affirmations. They
So
were
those were,
using that.
yeah, confessions, yes, affirmations. And we would make those every day. And, you know, during my alone time, I would think, what does it mean to be 10 years ahead of my peers? Or it means I shouldn't be afraid to do what other people that I may see as older are doing, because, hey, I'm 10 years ahead of my peers.
Yeah.
So I began to I began to believe that. And also because the young people around me as well were being spoken these words of life into them, they were a manifestation of that as well. And they were, daring, they were doing great things, and they would be like, I'm 10 years ahead of my peers. Each and every year they would be like, this year I'm going to do this. So those goal setting,
Well said.
essentially being able to believe in oneself because of the words that have been spoken over you, because the people around believe in you, and also your peers around you believe in themselves, and this is the culture. So it really played a huge role. More than anything, the environment really helped me a lot. So
I'm telling you, I'm shocked. I'm shocked, because you are so young, because it's the things you are saying are really powerful things. And I think the most powerful thing about it is that you know that what you're saying are powerful things. You can say you're saying it with such confidence. You know that what you're saying is important. You know that what you're saying might go into someone's ears that need it and change their lives. Every step you're taking is very, very purposeful. Everything you're doing in life is very, very purposeful. So I'm in a lot of shock because this is amazing. So can you say what your if like can you say what your purpose is in life? We kind of got the idea, right? We could see, but if you had to put it in like a phrase, what would you say?
Well, no one has ever asked me that question before. I think um, my purpose is to create meaningful change, meaningful and true change, because I've realized also in nonprofit organization work or sustainable development work, it's sometimes it's easy to get caught in between. Oh, I have to apply for grants, I have to do this, I have to do this to get the money to you know but always coming back, because I always come back to why I'm doing what I'm doing.
That's right.
And I say to myself, I can do this thing for free. If there's no money, if I can spend my own money to do it,
That's
then I
purpose.
believe it's worth doing. So in times like that, my purpose comes because even before I was able to learn about how the nonprofit organization industry works or whatever, I was doing these things out of my own capacity, and I was like, this is something that I can wake up and this is something that I can do for free. Even when I went to school, I was like, this is something that I can study and do up until my PhD. I don't care.
Ah,
So it's like something that I don't mind doing for as long as, you know. So I think that's my purpose. I don't know if I've answered
yes, you
specifically,
have. You've answered
but
it deeply and powerfully. So no worries there. So you said you are a believer, right? So obviously, do you feel like this is your calling? This is what you were born to do? You want to talk about that
yes,
a little bit?
I do. I do believe that God has placed every one of us here for a purpose, and for me to have received this validation so early and this passion, it simply means that I'm within God's purpose for my life, and yes, so I do believe that this is my calling. And I'm very grateful to have been able to discover that early on, because I'm aware that not many people can, not many people do, or maybe people look at, oh, because for instance, academically, I was a very smart kid. So, because of the economic uh, pressure in my society. When you're smart, you have to do medicine, engineering,
Ah,
all those that will enable you to, earn a better salary so that you can help your family, so
got
that you
it.
can get out of a certain economic situation, right? And having to choose, knowing that, I am literally in the top six in the whole country, but having to choose to follow my passion despite it not being listed on the top 10 most
Got it.
um
Whatever it is,
yeah,
whatever they want to list those things at now.
yeah,
You
but
got
so
something
far,
bigger.
yes, I already feel very successful, to be honest, and
Nice.
I do feel like I am living in my purpose, and this is my calling. So
That was powerful. You're probably one of the most powerful people I've ever met. Like, I don't know. It's okay. Before you
please
go,
tell this to Mr. Dajan.
the what?
Please tell this to Dr. Dajan.
Oh,
Doc-
if I knew them, I will tell them. I will tell. I will be like, I'll call them right now, sir or ma'am. Is it what is it, a sir or ma'am?
it's a sir.
Sir, listen to me very carefully. I found her. Get over here. You're it's amazing. Now, do you? because it is what you're doing is a business, right? So you do have to think of it in the business sense, right? Do you have measurements because you feel successful now? So do you have measurements with the new organization and your new projects? What are your personal measurements to keep saying, yeah, this is successful? This is, do you have any measurements?
Okay, so far we're currently collaborating with partners who are actually going to, I think it's called monitoring and evaluating, where you get to measure the impact that you're having, so that you can know, like, quantify your impact, right?
God.
So we are looking at that. We are carrying studies. We have professionals amongst us who are qualified in those fields where they will monitor and evaluate the progress, or
God.
maybe the quantity of people that we're trying to reach out to. So in essence, I may not say the exact figures, also because we haven't started our implementation yet. So we don't have the exact figures yet, but we are in the process of educating ourselves on the quantity,
Hmm.
quantifiable, huggable
Data.
recipients
Yes. Got it. Got
of
it.
our projects. So
But how about yourself, like personally, like I want to power these many people or these many towns by a certain time for yourself, and what you're doing.
okay, so for
Like if it was up
myself,
to you, yeah, if it was perfect, and the work you're doing is translating, what would you say? Yes, I did it.
so right now, when I look at outside the scope of Tangelic, when I look at the number of people that I've reached, I would say that I have reached more than 5,000 people in the different projects that I've
Got it.
done, because you'd find out that in one project we have like 500 attendants, and the other one is 250, so on
God.
and so forth. So now, and then my my focus moved to countries. I was like, I want to take my impact out of my country, right? So then I went to Ghana, I went to Nigeria, I went to South Africa. So now I would say I want to take it out of the continent. That's my goal for this year.
Let's do it.
That's
Let's
my goal
do
for
it.
this year. We're already, strategizing on other
Good
places
God.
outside the continent. We're looking at Asia, how we can go and make impact there. So, I call myself a global leader,
There you
and I
go.
do believe that I have to exemplify that as soon as possible. And
She
that is
said,
how I.
she said, now. Let's do it now. That's what she said. She said, as soon as possible. Well, I don't know. I'm very taken back just to know. I always say that the youth, and now I can say that anywhere because you're totally somewhere I've never been before, right? I always
Yes.
say here, even here, that the youth they got it. They know what
Yes.
they're doing. They understood where the generation before them made the mistakes. They see it, and I think we're going through a transition where now, as we gotta let them do their thing because they're smart. You guys know what we need in life, and now to see someone else across another country, and I see the same thing. Youth they learn from our mistakes, and they're ready to be the leaders we need in order to take our world to where it needs to go. We just gotta let them do it. So I am very happy to see another young person. I have daughters, right? So I'm very proud to see what you've done, the help you've given men. As a man that understands those that society sometimes doesn't take care of things that we need, and now power. Also, you're gonna do it. I'm telling you, you're gonna do it. God has it for you. I don't talk about God on my stuff. I'm a believer too, but I don't use it. I try not to. But if anybody would ask me, have you ever met someone that like God touched them, or God told them, or God chose them? I would say yes. Today I would say yes. I met her, and she's doing it, and don't stop, please. You gotta keep this work because there's not many like you, and we need it. So how do people support you? Let's talk about that. How would they support you?
Okay, so in order to support us, I'd encourage a person to go to our website, that is www.tangeliclife.org, and then also feel free to email us at support@tangeliclife.org. So that is how you can now get information about how to be a donor, how to donate in various ways, offer your help or expertise, or how your organization can be a strategic partner for the implementation of these projects. So I really, encourage the viewers or and listeners to get in touch with us, because the people on the team are passionate people like me who really want to make meaningful change, and these are the kind of organizations that you want to be a part of, that you want to partner with. So I would definitely encourage them to reach out.
Nice. Well, you heard it. I really hope all these projects take place. I know it's hard. I know it's a lot of work, right? I know it takes very special people to do it. I hope you get the talent you need and deserve to help you push these ideas. What you're doing, I'm gonna tell you, I am so excited you came on. Like this is it's the work that you're doing is going to change the world, and you know it. That's what's driving me. I can see the confidence that you know is gonna happen. You know you're gonna do it. There's no questions about it. So it's powerful. And to interview somebody through a screen is usually hard, but with you, I was able to feel that power immediately. So I'm very appreciative that you came here. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to everything that you do.
Thank you so much. I'm grateful for this opportunity.
Repeat after me. I